There are different levels of needs. I'm not going to go into that in depth, but really basically, a beautiful philosopher named Maslow gave us what we call a hierarchy of needs. And what he said is, it's almost like a pyramid. At the bottom are the most basic needs. Water, oxygen. If I stuck a paper bag over your head, let's say you're sitting here thinking, I've got a question, I have to ask my question, I have to ask my question. Somebody comes over and sticks a paper bag over your head, you can't breathe. Are you worried about asking your question? Of course not. What are you worried about? Breathing. So we've got a foundational level of needs. We need oxygen. We need food. We need water. We need shelter. And we keep going up and higher, and it's a whole philosophy. Again, there's not time to go into it. But it's a beautiful understanding. And of course, at the top of the pyramid is what we would talk about in terms of our spiritual needs. Much lower down, much more fundamental, connection, love. Lack of love is actually enough to ruin immune systems on a biologic level. It's enough to make children stop growing. Connection. We keep moving into our spiritual level. Now, it doesn't mean that spirituality is any less important. What it simply means is that we first have to have our most fundamental needs met. You know something's a need when you cannot imagine being able to live without it. And that doesn't only pertain, of course, to oxygen and water and food. It takes us all the way up through spirituality. Ideally, we could not imagine being able to live without a spiritual connection because that would make us animals. And on an ideal level, living a life without spirituality would be a fate worse than death, because that would just make us like animals. So those are needs. And again, there's a whole philosophy. I've just done it really, really, really basically. Then we move into dreams and desires. There's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with dreams and desires. They're beautiful. And I mention this because when you talk about it, you distinguish between them. As though somehow needs are okay to have, but dreams and desires are not okay to have. How do we distinguish them? Dreams and desires are wonderful. They're the stuff that fuel life. They're the stuff that catalyzes action. The problem is, how vast is my desire or my dream? Is my dream just, oh, I should get a cheeseburger tonight? Or is my dream that I should be able to touch people, that I should be able to contribute to the world, that I should be able to make a difference? They're both dreams. One of them is very self-centered, and self-centered on a primal level, food. The other on the highest level, goodness for the world. The only problem comes on either level when we feel like it's not being fulfilled. That's the only problem with our dreams and desires. The goal of a spiritual path is not, I don't want anything, que sera, sera, I'll just sit here on the couch and watch the world go by. Yes, we desire justice, freedom, an end to poverty, equality, pure water for all, equal rights for all. I mean, I could keep going all night of things we desire, things we're working for. Our dreams and desires only become hindrances when, as we move, when aspects of them are not fulfilled, and we become disappointed. We suffer. That's the only problem. The only other piece to mention here is, as you're looking at it, instead of wondering, is this a need, or is this a dream, or is this a desire, slightly shift the question. Ask yourself, how high or how low? Notice I didn't say good or bad. I'm not placing a value judgment on it. Ask yourself, how high or how low is this need or dream or desire? Because that's really the question. Is this a dream, desire, need just for me? That's only going to benefit me? I should get a pizza. I should get a raise. I should have this. I should build a mansion while everybody sleeps in the street. I should eat caviar while everyone starves? Or is it a dream desire for my greater self? Because that's what yoga teaches us, is that our self doesn't end here. Our self includes all of you. The same spirit that flows through me, flows through you. When in yoga we unite, when we talk about the union of the small self to the supreme self, it's not that there's 7 billion separate human supreme selves and each of us is just sort of a one-to-one connection of my small self and my supreme self. There's one supreme self. It's called the divine, the universe, God, whatever. It doesn't matter what word we use. And each of us is connecting into that. So the question becomes, how can my needs, my dreams, my desires be from a place of my greater self than from my small self? That's the question to ask yourself.